Yes.
Hello, this is 53 Above. We're a block off of Broadway. We're gonna get right into this. Our featured artist for this very first 53 Above stream,
the marvelous Mr. Matthew Martin Ward.
Just how it will end, there's no way of knowing. It's gonna depend on where the wind's blowing. Get going, my friend, and find a new world to explore. From what happened to you then, learn what has to happen now. When you know just what to do, and the who, when, where, and how, you'll change, but change is the way to allow what's next. Hi, Jason.
Hey, that was an awesome number. What was that from?
Well, that first, it's an original song I wrote with Peter Napolitano. So what mattered most to Peter and me was what's next, what's coming up.
Today is going to be a little bit of a hangout, a little bit of talk, and as well as a lot of music. When did you start playing music?
I started, according to my mother, I started playing by ear when I was 2.5. And I guess I watched my siblings play and kind of figured out what they were doing and said, I can do that. Well, you wake up every morning about an hour before you need to. And if you stay awake, you're pretty sure what it'll lead to. Damn, there's your mind up and running in a too familiar groove. And you know what you're gonna get if you are too damn lazy to move. Free-floating anxiety, ooh-ah, ooh. Free-floating anxiety, ooh-ah, ooh. Free-floating anxiety. I really hate it. I really, really do. Free-floating anxiety. Well, I know this guitar player, and his name is Little Ricky. And we were talking about anxiety and how it is so icky. I said, Little Ricky, when you're lying in your little bed and free-floating anxiety is messing with your head, what do you do then? Is there any cure? And Ricky, the guitar boy, he said, sure. I said, tell me it's the decent thing to do. He said, I can't believe I must explain this simple thing to you. I said, tell me anyway. He said, okay. I get up. That song was by Nancy White. I went to a school called the American Conservatory of Music. That's in Chicago, where I basically grew up. A competition at my school, it was the commencement exercises. There was a concert at the American Conservatory, and they rented out Chicago's Symphony Hall. Played this big hit, which you may know as Tonight We Love. That's enough of that. You know which one it is.
I've heard that.
Yeah. This is a Jerome Kern song. Turn off that charm. I'm through with love for a while. I'm through, and yet you have a fabulous smile. So if I forget, remind me not to find you so attractive. remind me that the world is full of men. If I start to miss you, to touch your hand, to kiss you, remind me to count to 10. I had a feeling when I met you, you'd drive me crazy if I let you. But all my efforts to forget you remind me I'm in love again. I get my heart well in hand, and I'm certain that I can take you or leave you alone. Then you begin that begin again, and boom, I give in again. I have a will made of steel, my friend. But when it seems about to bend, not to mention that I love you, to be sorry that we met, although I adore you, remind me to ignore you. You're one thing I will regret. So when your charm begins to blind me, I'll simply tie my hands behind me. Don't let me kiss you, please remind me. Unless, my darling, you forget. Yeah, it's all about the last note.
We are seeking donations to try to keep this project going. This is a little experiment that we're doing over the next couple of weeks. We've got about 5 shows lined up, and a few more might even pop up in there. After that happens, who knows what. Matthew Ward is a professional musician, and he makes his money playing the piano, and that has become exceedingly hard in 2020. So if you appreciate his music and what he's doing for the world by playing music, which I think is a pretty great thing, please donate to the stream. And you can find that at the donation button that's right on the Twitch page there, right below. It's streamlabs.com/53above. Matthew Ward,
Jason Ellis.
You played a stadium at some point? Is that true? You played a stadium with a big band?
Well, yes, I did. I forgot about that thing. This was Ben Arden's Big Bear Band. We played for the Chicago Bears, Da Bears, and we were a pep band, but we were local 10208 pep band. So it was a professional gig. Fender Rhodes suitcase piano. It is the heaviest keyboard short of a Hammond B3 organ, and lugging that thing around and setting it up was a part of my life I'm glad to have over, actually.
Oh, you got to find out what drummers and bass players' lives are like for a second.
I have a great... I tend to help drummers put stuff in their car after a gig.
One of the precious few. Basically,
double bass isn't that heavy. It's just big, but it's hollow.
Oh, come on.
I have a song that I sang in a show I did with Sally Darling, and I want to talk about Sally Darling.
I was going to ask about Sally. Now's a great time to talk about her. How did you guys meet?
The wonderful Sidney Meyer. Some of you know him. If you're in New York Cabaret, you inevitably know Sidney Meyer. And he gave her a list of pianists, and I was at the top of the list that he gave her, and she came to me, and we have done, I can't count. I think we're creating our 9th show. Sally Darling, she's a MAC Award winner, a Bistro Award winner,
and you've been in touch with Sally?
Sally and I do a FaceTime meeting every week, and that's how we rehearse, even though there's that time lag thing that happens on FaceTime and Zoom. Zoom is like weird things happen when you try to do music, and let me see if I can do this. Basically, on the piano, if it's a rhythmic song, you just stay a beat ahead of the singer and hope that you're sort of together. I have to play. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the pony. You just sort of jump ahead and hope that you're in synchronization. It never really works, but
Bloody nightmare is what it is.
yeah, most of my clients work with tracks. I send them a track and I hear them sing to the track that I have sent them so that they are in sync with themselves and I don't have to, I can really tell whether they've learned the music. If you use all three of my names on Messenger, if you happen to need a pre-recorded tracks, get in touch with me with Matthew Martin Ward on Messenger, and I will make you a track of song. If you send me the music, you will get a track.
And just to clarify, that is Facebook, right? That's your Facebook page they'll be talking to?
That's my Facebook Messenger, yeah.
And I think maybe you're the only Matthew Martin Ward on Facebook.
I believe so.
Okay.
My solo in the show. So this would be the part where Sally would be sitting across the stage in the dark, beaming. When I was a young man courting the girls, I played me a waiting game. If a maid refused me with tossing curls, I'd let the old earth take a couple of whirls, while I plied her with tears in place of pearls. And as time came around, she came my way. As time came around, she came. But it's a long, long while from May to December, and the days grow short when you reach September. And I have lost one tooth, and I walk a little lame, and I haven't got time for the waiting game. And the days turn to gold as they grow few. September, November, and these few golden days I'd spend with you. These golden days I'd spend with you. They woo you with words and a clover ring. But if you examine the versions by Walter Houston, I actually pieced them together because on a 10-inch 78, there isn't space for all those verses. And between all the verses and just thinking logically what the progression should be, I pieced together this version.
And
We'd love to bring back our Kurt Weill show, yeah. It's the last show we did before. What do we call this?
Before.
BP, before pandemic?
That's
BL, before lockdown?
I like BP.
BP, I think, is good.
Cheetah Rivera.
Casper.
See, now, most people, I think, if I said Cheetah Rivera, would not say Casper.
Stephen Cole, wrote a musical called Casper, based on The Friendly Ghost, and in its original inception, in 2001, it starred Cheetah Rivera as Magdalena Monteverdi, who was the villainess of the piece. Half a dozen flying rigs, flying by foy in the show because ghosts have to fly. I mean, this was a big deal. 14-piece orchestra, tons of people on stage. It was a big production. It did a whole little mini summer tour of these big, big spaces.
Wow.
And book writer, lyricist Stephen Cole is not afraid to tackle the big questions. Why is Casper haunting that mansion? Why do the uncles, fat so stinky and stretch, have no feet?
I've never asked these questions.
How did Casper become a ghost?
Oh,
And all these
I don't
questions
need to
are-
know that. That's sad.
Yeah, well, he has just continued to stay in the mansion and wait patiently for his parents that he absolutely knows will come. I know they're coming soon. I know there's only been a slight delay. And when they can, I know they'll write and say that they are halfway home. Who knows, one sunny June, I'll get a letter saying, dearest son. And though it's postmarked 1961, just like this photograph, still I'll sleep a little better knowing they are halfway home. One day, I know they'll walk through that door, and I'll get presents galore, and won't be lonely anymore. Each time I see the moon, I make a wish and say a little prayer, that when I wake up they'll be standing there, and promise not to roam. But till that magic day, I'll keep their photograph and say that they've gotta be halfway home. Halfway home, no matter where they are, there they are forever. That note almost didn't happen. The production in Cincinnati was absolutely marvelous. And I see it at Madison Square Garden every Halloween, just like the Christmas Carol is there, in Christmas. But that's just my.
I think that's
plan
a finite from your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Isadora Duncan. Well, she was, of course, the very famous dancer who revolutionized dance. She was kind of the anti-ballet. Among other things, went to Moscow to introduce her style of dance to people there. That was in 1906 that she went. And in 2006, I went to Moscow with the Isadora Duncan Dance Foundation and their troupe, and to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Isadora Duncan's arrival there. A great deal of it is all performed to classical music, and not dance music, not the ballet music, but the actual piano repertoire is used. Pieces by Chopin and Schubert and Brahms and Scriabin are all, she used them as fodder for dance. And people scorned her and said, you cannot dance to this music. And she created dances and basically said, oh yes, I can. And the particular dance I'm going to do is called the Grande Valse Brillante, because that's the name Chopin gave to this waltz. Anyway, I got to play this in Moscow's Tchaikovsky Hall, which is their great symphony hall.
What a treat. Everybody, we're here with Matthew Martin Ward. We're at 53 Above, a little theater in the heart of Manhattan's theater district. We're bringing you Cabaret Fair in a socially distanced way. And here we want to wish New York the best of luck in getting through this extreme trial of a year. Broadway, it was
Yes.
it was quite a thing when it was going on.
Yeah, I remember. I was a sub in the orchestras of all of these shows. I don't
Yeah.
know if
No, but
people
that-
know what a sub is. Basically, your audition is a live Broadway show. You learn it, you watch the conductor, you learn all the cues, you practice, and then one day you go in and sink or swim. Now, if you mess up, you get dirty looks.
Yeah.
Most shows they'll give you, if you didn't totally suck, they'll give you some notes and give you another show. Probably the one that was the most fun was Avenue Q.
Yeah.
That show. The leader of the conductor, Gary Adler, was determined that we would not be bored. The bad idea bears would come down and just float and do a ballet while we were doing some ethereal little underscore, and I pretty much lost it.
Would it be changing a little bit every night then?
It would be changing a little bit every night.
That's very rare
There
for
was
us.
a hot potato game going on. If you made a mistake, you were given a little sheet that said, "You're fired."
Well, one of them is an absolutely legendary, long-running New York called Forbidden Broadway.
Yes. It only ran about 25 years, so
Yeah.
you might have missed it. Is a show that is all parodies. The music is all Broadway music, and the show reflects whatever the current season is. And Gerard Alessandrini is the genius who wrote all of the parody lyrics. Two editions that I originated were Forbidden Broadway Strikes Back and Forbidden Broadway Cleans Up Its Act, as if. That was where I got to meet the marvelous Christine Petty, with whom I have traveled the globe, a fantastic vocalist.
And you continue to work with her, I think.
I continue to work with her. We recently did a show, more parody show tunes. This time, the parodies were written by Joe Keenan, who's another brilliant writer. He wrote many of the episodes of Frasier, My Blue Heaven, and There Must Be a Pony. Everybody Rise satirized the current political situation, and we were set to do a brand new edition, BP.
Yes.
So in order to give the Zoom lessons that I'm giving, I commute to my studio most every day.
So what was it like in April and May, riding on the subway in the city?
Private.
Private, yeah, sure.
Mostly, I often would have cars to myself, sometimes for the entire ride. Eerie is...
Yeah, it's more like it, huh?
The month of April, the streets were eerie.
Yeah. One of the things getting us through this whole fiasco is music. So we're super excited to have Matthew here. We ask that you please donate streamlabs.com/53above, which is a link that you'll find various places on this page. We have a couple of more numbers for you.
I mentioned Scriabin when I was talking about Duncan, and he wrote a piece for the left hand. He wrote a nocturne. I don't know. Are we watching the keys now?
We can, yeah.
When this old world starts a getting me down, and people are just too much for me to face, I climb way up to the top of the stairs, and all my cares just drift right into space. On the roof, it's peaceful as can be, and there the world below don't bother me. You want in? Okay. The stars put on a show for free, and darling, you can share it all with me. I keep it telling you right smack down in the middle of town, I found a paradise that's trouble-proof. If this world starts to getting you down, there's room enough for two. Up on the roof, oh, up on the roof, Let's go up on the roof.
Each of these shows is going to be like this, sort of a little bit hangout, a little bit concert. Facebook.com/53 Above Broadway. You can see the link down there. Please, again, donate. All of that money is split between the streaming project and Matthew himself. Matthew, let me just say one last time from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for doing this. This was such fun.
Well, here's a toast. Here's to us, my darling, my dear. Here's to us tonight. Not for what might happen next year, for it might not be nearly as bright. But here's to us, for better or worse, and for thanks to a merciful star. Skies of blue and muddling through, and for me and for you as we are. And here's to us, for nothing at all, if there's nothing at all we can praise. Just that we're together and here for the rest of our beautiful days. Here's to us forever and always. Here's to us, my darling, my dear. Here's to us tonight. Here, not for what might happen next year, for it might not be nearly as bright. But here's to us for all that we have and the road that we've traveled so far. Skies of blue and muddling through, and for me and for you as we are. And here's to us for egg in our beer and a cup of good cheer we can raise. Just for spring and wanting to sing, and for feeling like flinging bouquets. Here's to us forever and always.
Bravo! That's great. That's it, Mike. Just great, Mike.
Are we clear?
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you. Bye.